I'm with Caleb Donahoe, who's a great singer, but one thing we talked about with Caleb before the show is that he grew up in West Virginia, very proud West Virginian, but growing up, Caleb came from West Virginia where it was the #1 place in the whole country for heroin.
Now it is, yeah.
Yeah, so Caleb, what I want to know is, having an area where you lived in being such an epidemic, how did it affect you? How did it affect some of your friendships? Talk about the impact growing up in an area where heroin was so prevalent.
Growing up, I didn't know much about heroin. I didn't know about the presence of it too much. You know, I'd heard little things here and there, but I just noticed that as I got older, my friends started to get more, shall we say, promiscuous. Some friendships started to dip out. You know, I've had some family members that have dealt with drug problems. I've had some wonderful friends that have dealt with drug problems. And I think that growing up in an area where a problem like that is so prevalent kind of makes you more aware of it as you're older and want to do something about it. Like I didn't know that it was the #1 heroin capital of the U.S. until very recently, because it was just like, it's something that as a child you choose to not really pay attention to, even if it's happening. At least I did. Like, I remember when my mom told me that my aunt had a drug overdose, or that she was in jail again. It was just like, oh okay, well that's just something that happens, and so yeah, it was definitely there. And I found out recently that my childhood best friend, who I haven't talked to in years, has been spending the last several years in and out of rehab centers and in and out of jail. He's had 2 children and lost both of them in custody battles thanks to his drug problem. And it just seems like for these people that there's no escape from it. And that's something that's scary, and I wish more people would try to do something about it.
You know, that's why it's so important that, you know, early on in your life, you developed a passion for acting and singing. But I think when you develop a passion and you're so focused, you turn yourself to positive things. It's people that don't have passions for things turn into bad vices. So talk about growing up in an area and having that passion for music and acting that kind of steered you in the right direction.
It made me, having that and igniting that passion so young. I started singing when I was 6. I started acting when I was 12. It gave me something to channel all of, you know, the angst, all of the problems I was dealing with, and something to channel those into in a creative way, and like really understand what I was dealing with. And I had a constant stream of friends and role models to look up to and confide in beyond my family. My family is absolutely amazing, but it really helped me understand myself and what I wanted out of life. So if I ever would slip down a dark slope or whatever, it was something that kept bringing me back to the positive in life, and see like how far I could reach and how far I can still reach if I want to.
You know, we've talked so much on the show in the past about, you know, biggest problems in society, the drug crisis, and people getting addicted to prescription drugs and painkillers. And I know we talked very recently, that a great musician you admired so much was Chris Cornell, and he recently passed. A young man died from prescription drugs. Talk about when we lose someone of that ilk, such a talented artist, from prescription drugs, and such a great life is lost due to those, you know, basically committed suicide. But it was basically, they said it was one of the, he was on this medication, and one of the side effects was a cause of suicide. Let's talk about that a little bit.
I mean, you see, people can leave such huge impact in their life, but you know that impact could only be so much bigger if they just had the time to stick around a little bit longer, you know, and then to create so many things. Music for me has been something that has definitely shaped who I am and who I want to be, and seeing people that I look up to. Another person I really look up to is Heath Ledger, who passed away in 2008. And although he didn't have an addiction, he started to really rely on these prescription drugs to sleep, and he just let it get out of hand. And it's just it's a shame, and it's so also inspiring to like make the most out of the time that I have here, you know, like really tap into my potential, so that I can spend the rest of my life, you know, impacting others and really missing these people that could have left this impact.
And I think sometimes it can be a wake-up call, and negative can turn into a positive. For instance, recently, Tiger Woods, who was one of the greatest golfers that ever lived, due to drugs, was found basically in a catatonic state. When the police got there, he didn't even know what state he was in. He thought he was in California when he was in Florida. And maybe that's a cry for help. Maybe that's that, you know, he can be saved. Maybe through rehab and good treatment, he can turn his life around. But it also, when a major celebrity has a problem like that, it raises awareness, and people in the depths of drug abuse can get helped.
Truly, and I think that if people could feel more comfortable in talking about their issues, being more open with them, because I feel like so many people feel such shame over this reliance, these addictions, that they keep it to themselves or to a very close circle around them, and they don't really seek the help that they need because they're ashamed, you know. And I feel like if Tiger maybe would have I don't know, admitted to himself or to somebody else that he had a problem, he could have saved him from going down the path that he went down and ended up where he is now.
But the good thing is he's still alive, and
Yeah.
there's life, there's hope. But finally, stress the positives that for somebody young watching this video, and they don't know what turn they want to take in life. Talk about how important it is and what impact in your life, how positive having this passion for music and acting, and how much you love to perform and you love to write songs, and how it drives you in such a positive way. And that's why someone should turn to something positive where they can make a positive impact, and how much you love writing songs and love performing, and all those good things can keep you continuing to do positive things.
Yeah, music is a gift, acting is a gift, telling stories is such a gift. I mean, I always thought of movies and music as a gift to me, and now on the other side of it, being able to share this with other people, I think that it can remind so many people that they're, whatever problem that they're having, whether it's heartbreak, whether it's addiction, whether it's any type of illness, mental illness, anything, that they're not alone. And you know, there's so many people that they write about these problems, and they want to help people through these problems, just have something to turn to. And I mean, that's been so huge for me. Anytime that I'm sad or upset or want to turn to something dark necessarily, I have this music. I have my role models. I can sit in my room and play my guitar and write about it and be honest about it. And it's really a gift to be able to do that and know that someone somewhere is going to appreciate it.
Caleb, thank you so much for sharing. Caleb Donahue, ladies and gentlemen.